My name is Brandon Sejo. I'm a former sports reporter, now a mental health podcaster. I was 14 years old. I was a freshman at LaSalle High School. And so that was the first sign of like, all right, I definitely have something, but you don't think about it when you're 14 years old that that's like a problem. And it didn't happen like every day. It didn't happen every month, but it kept creeping back. And it was just that feeling of being alone because, I don't know why. I was always a pretty popular kid. I played sports. Later in life, I got a great job. I got to go do a lot of cool things. But I just had that feeling of being alone. And so I dealt with it since 14, and it just never really stopped. Probably when I moved away from my first TV job and I was in a small town, I didn't really know anyone. And I think that's when the loneliness really, really started hitting a lot. Just because, for those who don't know, when you work in TV, you bounce around from station to station and city to city, and sometimes you're in these smaller towns, or you're just where you have a different schedule where you're working from 2 to midnight, and going out to dinner by yourself and getting drinks by yourself for 7, 8, 9, 10 years, it weighs on you. But you also don't want to sit at home and be alone the whole time. So dealing with that, I think that was like drinking and being alone in different cities. Those two combined really, really hurt my mental health. I had a lot of support, and I think that's because people saw me going out every night, being drunk until 3, 4 in the morning out, and not being myself, and gaining weight, and not just enjoying life anymore. And so that really, really helped. I think them kind of seeing it. And that's the reason why I'm here, because if it wasn't for my cousin Zach picking me up when I wanted to lay down in traffic outside the casino drunk, or my ex calling my family when I was going to jump off the Roebling Bridge, then those things could have very well happened. And that's when I got to the lowest point where I'm like, I talked to my mom and my dad, like, I have to check myself in or I'm not going to be here. I called my therapist after I had like the biggest low, where I wrote a goodbye letter sober and took some pills and just prayed that I didn't wake up. And when I was at that point, I woke up and I realized, all right, I'm not going to be here if I don't check myself in somewhere. And so first thing on Monday, I had an emergency appointment with a therapist, and she recommended the Lindner Center of Hope. And I owe a lot of why I'm here today to this place. It really helped just kind of guide me back to being happy and getting my life back together. But what I learned here at 28 years old needs to be taught in schools at 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade levels throughout high school. It's not rocket science. It's just figuring out how to deal with your emotions. And so having those tools at 14 years old when I had those first thoughts might have stopped me from getting to where I was at 28. Being in a group setting and hearing other people's stories, and that's the crazy thing, is that you get here, once you get past that first hurdle of, yes, I'm checking into a mental health hospital, you realize that depression, anxiety, mental illness hits people of every age, every race, from every background. I had someone that was 18 in my class. I had somebody that was 70 in my class. And you just talk about your problems and you realize that you're not alone. And that's the biggest thing that I think helped me, was not only learning from the therapists and the counselors and the teachers, but also learning from my peers who were also struggling at the same time.